Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Iconic Dollcast. My name is Sage, your host. Welcome back to another episode all about dolls. Thank you for being here. Very excited for this episode today. It is a bright light in my current state. It is snowing in Colorado. It's actually a pretty big snowstorm. We called a snow day today at work, which, I mean, it snows a lot here, but it usually doesn't start until getting really bad until December. So I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but I'm not a big fan of the cold or snow. It's just something I've never been into, but it's all right. This week, I have my friend Matt Bloyd on the show, and Matt is going to educate me on all things Wicked. I know Wicked is such a huge thing, but prior to this conversation, I really had no knowledge of Wicked at all. I was, however, seeing all the dolls pop up and obviously all the advertising, and everything looks very cute, and I did end up buying 2 of the Ariana Grande dolls, which I'm very excited to work on at some point. But I thought with the movie coming out, actually the week of this episode coming out, and all the hype surrounding it, learning about Wicked was a cool and smart idea. I do want to preface that this episode definitely has a lot of spoilers about the plot. The movie isn't even out yet, but obviously, if you are like me and know nothing about Wicked and want to be surprised, maybe come back to this episode at a later date, just because he does pretty much explain everything to me, which I asked for and loved. I'm not so anxious about being surprised. I want to know what the story is before I go and see it. So very grateful that Matt was able to tell me all about that. And before I get into just some new doll info for the week, there's not much of it this week, so don't worry. I mean, I have to mention that just a few days ago, today is November 11th, it has gone pretty viral. That the Wicked dolls actually have a pretty embarrassing mistake on their packaging. And I didn't want to put out this episode without addressing it just because it is actually getting a lot of attention. And this was not realized when me and Matt recorded this episode. And so I am putting it in right here. But if you don't know, basically, the Wicked dolls, unfortunately, have a link to a website called wicked.com on all their boxes, and this is actually a link to an adult porn website. I believe the link was supposed to be wickedmovie.com, and in response, Mattel released a statement saying, let me just pull this up, "We deeply regret this unfortunate error and are taking immediate action to remedy this. Parents are advised that the misprinted, incorrect website is not appropriate for children, and people who have already purchased the dolls are advised to discard the packaging or obscure the link." And it looks like the dolls did get pulled from online markets first and then from actual stores. And I can actually confirm this. I checked today, again, it's November 11th, and the dolls have indeed been pulled from Walmarts and Targets in my area, at least. This is definitely a silly mistake, but obviously parents are very upset about this. The result is that scalpers are, of course, going absolutely crazy trying to sell some of these dolls that retail at, I think, between $20 and $40 for $200+. Please don't fall for this scam or give into it. It's so dumb because I do think scalpers actually do drive the collecting community and industry, and while I don't agree with it, it is definitely just something we will always have to deal with. But guys, trust me, it is not worth it. I'm guessing the links will just be covered with stickers in stores. At least that's what I thought. But okay, let me backtrack a little bit. Because at first I really did not see Mattel wasting all of this product and repackaging all the dolls or discarding those and releasing a bunch of new ones. But I did hear from someone I know who actually works at a Target that she thinks they actually did have to send back all of the dolls. There wasn't a just put them back here and wait. Because my assumption would be, okay, Mattel's going to probably send a bunch of stickers to put over the link. And that may still be the case. Maybe Mattel is just wanting to do it themselves for security reasons. I do not know. But it is just wild. It's so interesting. I think, we've talked about dolls that have been recalled before many times, but I don't think anything really like this has happened before, at least that we've talked about on the show. So I had to add it in here because it is a pretty big deal. And since this episode is about Wicked and the Wicked dolls, I just wanted to touch base on that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine how many millions of dollars would be lost if they did actually end up putting out a whole new batch of dolls to send to stores. But I don't know. We will see. Really quickly and a little bit randomly, one doll I wanted to chat about is, so American Girl re-released a limited edition of Kirsten in the St. Lucia outfit. The iconic St. Lucia. Is it Santa Lucia? I don't even know. The Christmas outfit. And I love this outfit so much. I think it's probably, definitely one of the most recognizable American Girl costumes ever. But I do have some thoughts about this release. For now, at least, you can only get the costume and the iconic wreath she wears on top of her head if you buy the doll with it. And I mean, I think Kirsten has been one of the longest archived dolls in the historical series. And everything was archived, so it's pretty hard to get. It's more expensive, really expensive, a lot of Kirsten stuff, especially this costume. But they did, however, relaunch Kirsten, I think not even that long ago, maybe right before the summer, if I'm remembering correctly. And so you can currently get the doll at American Girl stores or online. And the price point for this new version with this costume is selling for $230. I'm pretty sure this is a members exclusive to American Girl and it's limited to like 3,000 units, but I just feel like this is such an annoying cash grab. I know I've been talking forever about how I wish American Girl could go back and appreciate their historical characters more, and while they are doing that, they are also making things so ridiculously expensive. Especially since you can, in fact, get a Kirsten doll currently. And honestly, you could probably get a new Kirsten doll and a used costume of this off eBay for less than $230. It'll still be expensive, but less than that. And I don't know. It also comes with the wreath and book, but I just feel like it could have at least included the accessories as well, especially for that price point. Her box is pretty cute, I guess, but I don't know. This is something that frustrates me with American Girl, and I know I saw a lot of other people leaving comments and such like this. So for those of you listening and who follow American Girl, I feel you on this one. I think it's super ridiculous, but I did end up making my own wreath for my doll, and I'm pretty pleased with how she came out, and it cost me under $30 to make. So anyway, I want to get into this interview. Also, Matt and I talk pretty frequently, and we are both really big fans of Little Mix. I cut the main part of the episode, just down to Wicked stuff, but stay tuned after the theme music in today's episode if you want to hear a little random segment about what I think is one of, if not the, yes, I am saying it, most iconic girl bands of all time. So definitely stay tuned if you are having fun. As always, please follow me on Instagram, Britney Spears Custom Dolls or Iconic Dollcast. You can follow me on TikTok at Britney Spears Dolls. And here's my interview with Matt Bloyd all about Wicked and a Little Mix. All right, my friends, this week I have Matt on the show, and Matt is a singer, a fan of Britney Spears and Little Mix, who you all know I love. And he's also a doll collector who is super into Wicked. And today he is going to educate me all about Wicked, which is something I'm pretty excited about because I know absolutely nothing about Wicked. So I am very happy to have him on the show today. Matt, how are you doing today?
Hi, Sage. I'm so good. I'm so excited to be here. You know, I love the pod and I love all the things that you do. And yeah, thank you for having me. This is going to be so fun.
Thank you. And you guys, Matt's not kidding. He does listen to the show.
I'm not just putting on you guys. I'm a consumer and it is always a thrill to listen to your episodes.
Well, good. I'm so glad. So, before we get into this Wicked craziness, like I said, you are a singer. So tell me about yourself. I mean, I know like quite a bit about you, but people listening might not. So tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about yourself, what you do, and about your music career that you have going.
Sure. I'm like, yeah, we're like friends. I know. We're pretend like we've never met before. Hi,
Hi.
I'm Matt. Matt Bloyd is my full name, my artist name, and yeah, I've been doing the music thing. I'm a singer. I split time between LA and Nashville. I'm in Nashville currently, and I've done a lot of different things. I have a YouTube channel that has been pretty successful over the years. I sing a lot of background vocals for some really fun, exciting artists like Dua Lipa, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga. Yeah, and I'm out in Nashville pursuing my own artistry now in country music, and it's been a wild ride. And I'll be releasing some new music very soon. Yeah, I'm just out here living my best life, I guess, in
I
the
love
Nashville
it.
street. Yeehaw,
Yes.
baby.
And yes, please, guys, you need to go hear Matt sing. It's beautiful. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
thanks. Thanks,
Beautiful
Sage.
singing. So
Thank you.
you're also kind of a recent doll collector. Like you're really getting into it. Like, and that's great and amazing. And I want to tell me about your journey, your current doll collecting journey. How's it been going? What really kicked it off? Just tell me all about that.
So yeah, growing up, and I know Sage, we've talked about this. Growing up, I wasn't really allowed to have dolls, and I can remember being very young and seeing the Britney doll in the stores and being like, "I want her so bad," and both my parents being like, "No," and my cousins had one. I just wanted her so bad. So as I got older, I've slowly built the collection over the years and really dove in. Yeah, a little bit more recently. I mean, the last like 3, 4 years for sure. Just actually putting the money towards it and figuring out what it is I want to collect too, because there was so much that I did love and stuff that I remember from our childhoods, like you know, that all those 90s Barbies that I know you love. I love them too. And again, I never got to have them, but I think I took some time to figure out what does resonate with me. And I do love Britney. Britney has inspired me my whole life. And again, have always loved her dolls. And yeah, I have a little bit, I mainly collect celebrity singer dolls. So I can see from where I'm sitting my TLC dolls that Yaboom
Mm.
made. They did two different versions. I can see my Destiny's Child dolls that I think Mattel did a version of, and Hasbro, I think, is the ones I can see right now. Hasbro ones are known for not being the greatest. I can also see I have the A-Teens dolls. Do you remember A-Teens?
Of course I do.
They had a doll line that Play Along did, the same company that did Britney's. They also did Aaron Carter, who I have some of Aaron's dolls. Rest in peace. I love Aaron Carter. And again, the 18s dolls and some of the Aaron dolls. The Aaron dolls are pretty readily available, but the 18s dolls are really, really hard to come by. And I have actually been hunting for the 18s dolls for years, and I got them kind of recently. I got them a few months ago. All from the same seller in great condition. I mean, they're hard to find out of box. They're hard. They're even more hard to find in box. So that's kind of been my journey. Just as we enter our adulthood and adult money, figuring out what speaks to you. And I've always been a collector. I have many different collections. I have a Funko collection. I collect Lion King. Lion King is like my all-time favorite. My dog's name is Simba. I have a
Aw.
Lion King album that I did. Go check that out. When the new movie came out a few years ago, it came out on my birthday. So I spent like the 6 months leading up to it recording all of my own versions of the soundtrack. And it's something I'm very, very proud of. I collect Cowboy Mickey, Two Gun Mickey, as he's called, Mickey Mouse. The only time Mickey has held guns, and it's a lot of vintage pieces and clothes and stuff. So I've always been a collector, but we're talking about dolls today and the iconic doll cast. So yeah, that's kind of the quick version of. Oh, I can also see this is fun. I don't think you've ever talked about MGA's America's Next Top Model dolls.
No, I
They
haven't.
are they are a time. First of all, grew up loving America's Next Top Model, still do. I'm always
Yes.
watching. It's like one of my comfort shows, and I didn't know they made dolls until like the last like year or so. And they're not super hard to get, but I wanted them in good condition, and there's a couple different variants of them. Anyway, yeah, that's my little collection in a nutshell.
I wish they would have done a Tyra.
I know. I want Mattel to do. I would love Mattel to do a Tyra doll. That
It's
would be
weird
so
that they didn't. I could like understand why they didn't do like any of the contestants because it's just like
No, no.
The contestants aren't really, I mean, it's just like any other reality competition show. It's kind of like, I mean, if you're a big fan of America's Next Top Model, like you remember your favorites and stuff, but it's not
Of
something that
course.
is like on everyone's mind forever. But like Tyra Banks is that show. So it's so odd that they didn't at least do one for her specifically.
Yeah, when they were making that deal with, and that was when MGA was big. Like we're talking like 2000. I think those came out in like 2009 to 2011. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure when I did my little research, I didn't know you were an ANTM fan. We've never
Of
discussed.
course I
Have we? I
am.
don't think we have. We
Oh,
have to talk.
really?
We have to talk our favorite cycles off pod because like the whole deep dive
Oh,
that is.
I have a favorite cycle. Yep.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could guess. Well, that we'll talk about that another time
Sure.
because that will take us really down the rabbit hole. But the dolls are I've opened up one of them and they're really good quality, and
Okay.
they have they're made for posing, which is fun, and they have like makeovers and they have different outfits. They did a really fun job with those. But Mattel got wind of them and Mattel did a top model. Do you remember that? And kind of beat them to it,
Mm.
which is
Of course they did.
a narrative that we've heard before.
Yep.
So and I remember those commercials. Those are the commercials I remember. Is the Mattel Barbie top? They didn't call it top model. They called it something else. But anyway, I digress.
No, it's great. And it's so fun every time you get a new doll and you're like, oh my God. And I'm just like, oh, like I can just tell how excited it makes you. And that's great because, like you said, like
Yes.
you weren't allowed to have dolls as a kid. And I know, like, it's very, like, obviously I was. So it's a very different story for me. And it's always interesting to hear stories like that. And it's like nice to see because I can truly see how excited people get when they get a new doll. It's just like, that's so great because it is really a special thing when you're finally allowed to do things for yourself. And, doll collectors get a lot of criticism, I feel. And like, it's just like, because people don't understand like what that can mean to someone, especially someone who has been deprived of dolls their whole life. So I'm very happy for you. And I love getting your collection updates. You're doing great with your Britney collection. So congrats on that.
Listen, this Brittany collection is wild. But yeah, I just wanted to say quickly too, it's all about healing that inner child. And that's something I've really focused on, like in my own, personal healing journey or just journey in general. And there is something really exciting about getting some of these pieces. Like, I mean, Disney's obviously a huge part of my life. I already talked about The Lion King, but some of these Disney dolls, like I was given a Pocahontas doll as a kid and it was taken away from me. And so to like
Oh,
purchase that the Sun Colors Pocahontas, who
love
is so
her.
iconic. Talk about hair play. Don't get me started. So to hold that again and there was something so healing about that and about every time I've been able to purchase the many Britneys I have. I tried counting them today and it was wild. And I've purchased some of your amazing pieces. I think I have four of
Oh,
yours
yeah.
here. Yeah. I think four, which I always love. I think I'm due for another one. Yeah, it's a special thing. And it is so cool to hear on your podcast about the different walks that people come from. There have been some people on the show that have talked about that they were allowed to, and it wasn't a big
Hmm.
deal. I know that's your story, and I love when you talk about your grandparents. I was actually listening to the Sailor Moon episode today, and
Yes.
you were talking about your grandma and stuff and your grandpa. And I love that. Like there's, and of course that's so different from me, but I think everything shapes us to be who we are and it doesn't make it any more or less special. It's just everyone's, I don't know, journey with collecting.
It's different for everyone, and I love that. And that was the whole purpose of this show. It's like, because
Mhm.
dolls are a very visual thing. But I'm like, yeah, but I think a lot of the times when you're watching people on YouTube or whatever, you're not really getting a sense of who they are.
Yeah.
And I feel like doll collectors are so interesting. And so I was like, this is how this is going to work. And I've loved it just hearing from people. And I love that people are comfortable sharing those stories with me. And it's just been great. So, so glad to have you here today because we are talking about Wicked. I know nothing, Matt. I am not a musical theater person. I don't know why. Don't, I just I don't know why. It's not that I don't like musicals. Like I just I don't get into them. And I really couldn't tell you why. But obviously Wicked is huge and this big ass movie is about to come out and just take over the world. I know I was reading some shit on Twitter of some X, whatever you want to call it. just
Right.
some people being like, it's going to be so hilarious when this movie flops, and I'm like, this movie, there's no
There's no.
chance in hell that this movie is. It doesn't even matter if the movie sucks. Like this movie
Yeah.
is going to be so successful, and obviously all these dolls are rolling up. But before we get into that, I need you, Matt, to tell me what Wicked is because I just know that there's some connection with the Wizard of Oz. So tell me, just tell me, give me a brief synopsis. Tell me, just give me the basic plot line so I can start to understand what all of this is.
I mean, the quickest and easiest synopsis without spoilers. I don't want people who are listening and maybe haven't seen, because it's a piece of theater, and theater is not accessible to everybody. So it's totally okay that, maybe musical theater isn't your thing, or you just haven't had the opportunity to see it while it's on tour, or get to New York and buy a ticket and get there. I mean, and that's why I think this movie is so exciting. So the quickest synopsis that I thought of to kind of to give just, I don't know, the quickest and most well-rounded, I suppose, but it's basically a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. That's
Okay.
the easiest way to say it. And of course, to talk a little bit more, it is this story specifically of the Wicked Witch of the West and the Wicked Witch of the North, Glinda. And in Wicked, her name is Elphaba. And that they went to school together, they become friends, and kind of the rise and fall of the Wicked Witch of the West and the Wicked Witch of the North. And it's a really, really beautiful story of friendship, and is why I love it so much. And I think why it resonates with so many people. And I was just saying this the other day. I think what's going to make this movie so impactful and what makes the show so impactful for so many years is that it truly is a show about friendship. And I think, like adult friendship. And I don't know that we see a lot of those, some like we were talking about like on House of the Dragon, which love Game of Thrones, wish they had dolls, but like there's no such thing in like House of the Dragon as people just being friends. Like people have to like kiss for no reason, and you're like, why are they kissing? I thought they were friends. Like, and I think that with Wicked, it's truly just the story of these two women and how they impact each other's lives and for good, and that's one of the names of the songs. And I think that just really resonates, and I think it's really beautiful.
Okay. That's so interesting because yeah, I mean, obviously I've known about Wicked forever. I've never looked into it, but I know it was such a huge deal on Broadway, and I always assumed it was just like The Wizard of Oz on Broadway, and they just gave it like a new
Thing.
title or something. I don't know. And so like that, the Wicked Witch of the West is the like mean witch in The Wizard of Oz,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she becomes a mean girl.
Well, yes, from that point of view, but you learn her
The
true
reasons why.
intentions.
Okay.
I also want to stop and say that was honestly kind of hard because I don't think I've ever had to like, it's so cool that you don't know anything about it. I love this. I've never had to sit and tell somebody what Wicked was about. Because in my experience, being in music, being around people who are in theater, I mean, you just know what Wicked's about, and it's about the Green Witch and the Good Witch. So that was actually really challenging and really fun to tell you, like the most basic. Because I'm trying not to say spoilers, and I feel like I even have kind of said some, but you
Spoiler
learn.
alert, everyone. We're
Spoiler
talking about
alert.
Wicked.
Seriously. Well, some people I think are really trying to not. Now that the movie's coming, I've seen online people trying to not see what happens because there is some really cool tie-ins with The Wizard of Oz, which I grew up loving The Wizard of Oz. So when this came out, and it was a book originally written by Gregory Maguire in 1995 and had a lot of success. And then the musical was adapted and opened in the early 2000s, I think 2003, with Idina Menzel, who has gone on to,
Is that Elsa?
Elsa, yeah. She was the
Oh.
original Elphaba on Broadway. And Kristen Chenoweth, I don't know if you know Kristen
Hmm.
Chenoweth, also has gone on to have an amazing career of her own. But they were very young starring in this because they start off at school. They meet at school. They meet in high school, essentially, and grow up. The show does go over some time and grow into the characters that we know them to be in The Wizard of Oz. And again, it's a different telling. It's a different, POV, if you will. And I think with Wizard of Oz being such a beloved movie, that's also what's made both the book Wicked very successful, which I read the book in high school, but I like don't I don't even think I finished it. I was trying to get reading pages for like summer reading and loved, I mean, and I loved it at the time when I was exposed to it. And it's a lot, the book is a lot darker, but that's what made the book so successful. And then, of course, it gets adapted to Broadway, and it's a very big spectacle musical. It's big, big songs, big singing, beautiful, lavish sets, costumes. I mean, it won so many awards, so it's become really beloved, and I as well as being adapted from something very beloved. But this movie has been a long time coming, and that's I think the other hype for it is that Universal Pictures has had the rights to the Wicked musical for like 20 years or something like a long time.
Oh, wow.
And so us as fans, we've been waiting, and they've had directors attached, and then rumors over the years, and even putting up like they put up at Universal Studios. There was like I remember they put up a bunch of Wicked posters around like the theme park, so everybody was like, "What are they making the movie? Is this official?" That was probably like 10 years ago now, maybe. I remember being there and being like, "Oh." So there's a lot of hype, and I don't think it'll flop. As again, a big fan, everybody who is involved in this project, like John Chu, the director, both the girls playing the main parts, everybody from costume. I mean, all these people are like obsessed with Wicked and have been like dreaming to make this movie their whole life. So I just think a lot of love and passion is going into this movie, and I am clearly very excited because the rollout has been insane. The collaborations, the dolls, the like it they announced probably like maybe a year ago every collaboration that they're going to do to promote this movie, and it was giving Barbie movie
Oh,
rollout.
yeah.
Like that's what everybody said right away. They were like, this is going to, I mean, the Barbie rollout was amazing. Loved, obviously. I know you've talked so much about your love for the Barbie movie. But I mean, it's gonna be up there with the amount of marketing dollars and collaborations. I remember going to like a random restaurant in it was either LA or Nashville, whatever. And this random restaurant I never heard of had a Barbie movie collab, like a cocktail and a pink, like they made their like chicken wings pink. And I was like, this is crazy. This is so cool. And it was licensed with Barbie.
Right.
Like, yeah. And I was like, that's what Wicked is giving, y'all.
Yeah, I'm fully anticipating it to be as crazy as Barbie. I mean, already it's just everywhere, and it's the movie's not even out yet. So, I'm fully expecting it just Wicked to be everywhere. I'm sure there's going to be even more tie-ins that we haven't seen yet. Whatever.
Well, also, I don't know if you know, they're breaking it into two movies. This is just part one. And a year later, we're getting
Oh,
part two. And there's going to be a whole nother rollout for that movie because it's a whole nother movie to promote.
oh my gosh!
And,
I didn't know that.
it was a controversial, I think, decision that has been now, I think, very widely accepted because they're able to really tell the full story, not cut songs, not cut characters, because it's really
Hmm.
first act and second act, which is what you see when you go, there's an intermission when you go see the stage show. And so I think at first there was like, oh, it's a money grab, blah, 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 blah. But and I mean it kind of is, but I'm excited as a fan because we're really going to be able to see everything and get every song and spend time with these characters. I'm bummed to have to wait for some songs and some moments, but it's okay.
And so, have you seen the musical quite a few times?
I've seen it like 9
Oh
times.
my gosh! Wow, I know.
Oh,
Is it expensive to go see a show on Broadway? I literally don't know.
um, it can be, yeah. There are a lot of ways to get tickets. There's lotteries every show, so you can put your name in a hat.
Hmm.
I've won lotteries. I don't think I've ever done the Wicked lottery, but it's again such a popular show. It's in one of the biggest venues on Broadway. It actually no, I think it's the second biggest. First biggest is the Lion King Theater, and then I think the Gershwin, which is the Gershwin Theater. I think might be the second. It's huge because Broadway theaters are known for being pretty small, which is cool, which makes the theater experience awesome. But the Gershwin is very grand and very beautiful. And you can get a ticket in the back of the house for not too expensive. If you want to sit front row, yeah, it might be a little bit more expensive, but there's so many discount sites. Today Tix is a great resource to see stuff, but it also goes on tour, so it comes to your cities,
Right.
and those tickets are always much, much more reasonable. Um, I've probably seen the tour. I've probably seen it on Broadway like 4 times and maybe the tour like five. I mean, I saw it the first time I saw it, I was like a freshman in high school when it came to my town. And I already kind of knew some of the music, and then I saw it, and it just blew my mind. It just blew me away. And if I, counting all the way back to that to now, I've had friends be in it. I actually was in New York the week before like the world shut down, and the day before I flew back to LA, just in time, I went and saw. I had two friends. One was playing Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, and the other was playing a character named Bach. Um, and I was like, I have to see them, and I'm so glad I did, because then the world shut down and live theater was completely, lights were dead for so long. So it was a special memory that I like clung to during the dark times. Not to bring up the pandemic.
Oh, it comes up every single time.
I know, because so many people started collecting dolls, and that's funny. I got a couple of Britney dolls probably like 3 months before the pandemic. I got one of the Pepsi dolls. I think the Baby One More Time doll. Yeah, it's funny. Anyway, good
Um,
times.
and so since you are obviously a big true fan of this story, what are your thoughts on the casting? Are you comfortable with the casting? Do you think what are your expectations with that?
I personally have loved the casting. I have been a Cynthia Erivo fan. Cynthia is playing Elphaba, who is the Wicked Witch of the West. I have one of her dolls
Oh, there
here.
she is.
No, for our listeners, they can't see, but this is one of them. She's been doing so many things, but I really think this movie is going to take her to full, household name status, and I'm very, very excited for her. And I love Ariana Grande. I do. I mean, I have loved her since day one. I'm not like I've seen her in concert, but I'm not like, the most massive Arinator. Is that what they call themselves? What are the fans called?
I don't know. I don't know.
I love her because as a singer myself, I love a pop diva who can sing. And Ari's voice is amazing. She got her start in theater, and I think her being cast as Glinda is really awesome, because I knew when it was announced that she was going to do the part justice, because she respects and loves the part, and she's grown up with it. She's talked about it at length for years. I mean, she was vying for this part for her whole career. Let's be honest. And it's cool now. There's so many things made of her talking about it on podcasts,
Right.
on interviews, on late night TV, and back when she was a kid talking about it. So that's a really beautiful thing to watch, and everybody down to I love Jonathan Bailey as the Fiero character. Essentially the love interest. Love Peter Dinklage, Michelle Yeoh. I love. I mean, there's no Jeff Goldblum as the wizard. I mean,
Yeah.
on like what great casting. I love Jeff Goldblum. Long-winded answer to your question. Yes, I don't think there's one person that's been cast that I'm like, oh, we'll see. Like they did a very, very good job.
Yeah, I've always heard that Ariana Grande was very I like her. I'm not I've seen her in concert, but low-key I went so I could see Normani, and I still like hate
Stop.
myself for not going to see her when she came here with Little Mix. It's like
Okay, I
my
was about to interrupt
biggest
you. I was like, you didn't go when Little Mix opened? What the even heck?
I there was some reason why I
Yeah.
didn't though. I think I was out of town for something, and it was not something I could move around, but I also at the time was like but seriously, probably my biggest like concert regret ever is not going to that, cuz like anyway,
I
we'll get
mean,
to Little Mix in just a
yes, yes.
second. But I've heard that Ariana Grande is like born to play this role. I like Ariana Grande's music. I think she's not one of my favorites, but definitely she can sing, and it does sound like she is very. I like the idea that she respects the role, so that adds to everything, because she's gonna. I mean, I'm sure she works really hard in general, but she's gonna put her best foot forward with this. It's not going to be lazy. Not that Ariana Grande is lazy. I'm just saying, like,
Oh,
she's
come
gonna.
on.
I have good feelings about it too, and she's already like a huge, massive star. And I think this is. It's just like she's so big that it's like, where else could she possibly go? I think this movie is going to open up even more opportunities for her, which is great. And because you never know with these pop stars. I think there's only a handful of pop stars that really just keep it going, and I think this is a really good
Yeah.
opportunity for Ariana Grande to keep going and doing what she loves. So I'm very excited for her, and I'm excited to see this movie just because the hype is so big. And I know sometimes hype hype can be dangerous
Yep.
because I mean, you listen to the show, you know, I the Little Mermaid movie was really a big thing for me where it's like I didn't hate the movie and I know I come across pretty negative about it, but only because my expectations were so high that it's like there was no way this movie was going to meet my expectation that movie was going to meet my expectations, but what I'm excited about with this one is I have none. I have
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
expectations. So I'm like, I think I'll probably enjoy it. And yeah, like you said, I think it's going to be a huge deal. There's just no way it's not. I'm actually going to be in LA when that movie comes out. And I'm like, I'm guessing like they're, I guess they probably do like premieres like the week before or something. But I'm going to try and go see it that weekend if I can. But if not, I'm definitely going to see it. It's not something I'm going to sit on just because it is a big deal and it's everywhere I go. And I I like what you said earlier. Sorry to backtrack a little bit, but you talked about how like you're making your collection super like what you want it to be. And that is definitely a problem I have. Like sometimes I'll just buy shit because I'm like that's so cute and I did buy two Wicked dolls of Ariana Grande because I was like,
Oh,
well,
okay.
I like feel like I should get one. Like I have no idea if this movie is going to be something I like at all, but like I like Ariana Grande. I think the doll is really cute. So I did get them. So I will see the movie and I'm very excited just because you know, I've only heard good things about it. So like I said, I don't know why I wouldn't be into a musical like that. It just hasn't been my thing yet. So who knows? This movie could change my whole life.
I mean, that would be so beautiful. And as your friend, I would love that. Do you know any of the music at all? Do you know any of the songs? Sage, that is so crazy amazing.
I don't.
Like,
I just know like the little clips of like the Ariana Grande doll singing.
okay, did you get that one?
No, I did not get. I do not like singing dolls. I
I
actually,
don't
I actually
really.
hate them.
I
So,
only reason I was excited for these was because I wanted to hear more of the songs. Like
oh yeah.
the dolls until kind of more recently, the dolls were playing the longest clips of some of these songs that we as fans had heard. So there was this mass rush to try and get these dolls so you could hear, her sing her song that's called Popular or hear Elphaba sing Defying Gravity, which is the big song from that show. And I was like chomping at the bit, like trying to find the singing Elphaba doll so I could just hear the song a little bit. I wish I could go see it with you and just experience your first time and your reactions. And I wanted to get back really quickly to what you said about hype because I felt the same way in a lot of ways about the Little Mermaid movie. I did like it. There were
It's
so
not
many.
bad. It's not a
No,
bad movie. I just was like, nothing like.
we had a lot of the same notes. I listened to the pod. I love Halle Bailey so much, and the music, her voice, she was amazing. But yeah, and that's also tough because we were so attached to a previous. I mean, The Lion King had the same problem, right? When The Lion King live action came out, I liked it. I thought it was fine. As a diehard, I was like, it's just a retelling of a story I love. But I know a lot of people were really disappointed. But I think with this movie too, yeah, you do run the risk of the hype. And again, with this rollout, and I went and got the Little Mermaid dolls too, just like you did. And I was so excited because I wanted Ariel dolls when I was a kid, and that was one I could never have. I loved Ariel. She was my favorite. And then to see this beautiful representation of Halle Bailey and what that meant, for so many young people and women specifically. Like I was so excited and I just wanted to be, I bought them for my niece. There was a lot of emotions around that movie. And I think there also is the same with Wicked, but I'm trying to just, I'm trying to be excited. And again, like I already said too, what's coming out, these pre-screenings that are from people who would get online and be like, y'all, they did us so dirty with this movie. Like I feel like my friends would be honest. They'd be like, "It was good, but it didn't," because everyone's going to compare. Whereas we had the animated version with Little Mermaid, with this we have the
Mhm.
stage adaptation that people have obsessed over their whole life. It's very similar. I mean, there are people who have like made this their and I'm a little bit like this, but have just loved this their whole life and have seen the show and have been in the show. People who have been in there have been so many people who have played these parts and have played it in their school productions and stuff. So it does run sort of deep, and I do hope that I do hope it lives up to the hype. As of this recording is whenever this comes out. As of this recording, it is not out yet.
Yeah, so this episode's going to come out the week that the movie comes out, but it's going to come out before the movie comes out. So we'll have to do some like a little
We should do a little check-in.
A little check in after it comes out. I think I'm excited to see Ariana. I mean, Ariana Grande is a pop singer, you know, and something, this is so like random, but I do a little singing too. It's not like my, it's not my
I feel
passion
like I've heard you
anymore.
sing. Yes, you sent me a song
And,
once. You?
I'm maybe, I am like permanently scarred because I did like choir in high school and I fucking hated it. I'm gonna put my choir teacher on blast right now. So I just will never forget. There was this one time where she like made us sing all of us like by ourselves, and I'm that's fine, but I'll never
Yeah.
forget. She like did not like me because I obviously like pop music, right? And I'm not here to
Britney,
be a
Madonna.
yeah, and she knew that, and I just remember
Yeah.
her being like, "Well, you can't sing like that," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" We got into this little scuffle, and she was like, "You need to be a little less pop," and I like was like, "What the fuck do you mean, lady? Like, this is high school
What?
choir, like whatever." Don't
You
care.
need to relax.
She's a total bitch. Hate her. Fuck her. Anyway, I'm
That's
excited.
sad.
I'm excited to see Ariana Grande because I mean it took me a while and then I understood kind of what she was saying and I was like, okay, well this is definitely not for me. I am not gonna sing like that.
Yeah.
I look at theater. It's probably just because I had a bad experience with it where I was like, you guys are all so obnoxious with the way you guys sing. Like this is ridiculous. You want to tell me I sound weird? Whatever. I'm excited. I did learn about, you know, the difference between pop singing and theater singing at a point, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. You're still a bitch.
Well,
But
yeah, that happened to you. That arts, somebody in the arts, especially an educator, should never make a student feel that way.
well,
That's
I went to a school that was very like the theater kids were,
the top of the school.
yeah, and it was very kind of like, okay, like none of you guys are doing anything in 2024. Like you
Let's be
put
honest.
like, you know, and it is what it is, but
What it is.
it was just the way she approached it where it was very clear like you are not going to be better than my little theater kids, like blah blah. And it's like, okay, cool. I already am. So anyway,
You're like, I'm way cooler.
um,
I
and
try.
I'm excited to hear Ariana Grande sing in this movie because I think she's going to sound drastically different than she does on like her pop record. So that was just my point with that because it's going to be different, obviously, because she's not going to be singing things the way she sings her records, you know. So I think that'll be really interesting. She's going to be amazing no matter what. But
I do want to say, to piggyback off that really quick, I shockingly didn't grow up doing a lot of theater. I grew up loving theater, but not really also resonating with some of the theater vibes because it can be a lot. Love all my theater friends and my theater girlies. I just have always, I've always thrived in a pop sense as well. I've been in all the choirs, of course. I went to school for music. I've had to study all the classical and theater. But I want to say what I think makes Wicked really digestible for a mass audience and why it's been so successful is because it is a very theater forward show. Meaning, I mean, these songs that these girls are belting out are high and they're big and they're epic, which I love, and so they require a lot of technique, but it's a very pop. It has a lot of pop elements, and I think that that's what makes theater fun for me as a consumer too. There are different levels of what theater can be, and I think Wicked really hits such a great resonance with people because I think you're going to walk in there and you're going to like the songs. It's going to be pop. You're going to hear Ariana. And yes, she does do some kind of operatic stuff, but it's cute and it's funny and it serves the character. But there's a lot of poppy, really catchy elements to this music that has, also added to its success. And I also just want to say, going back a little to when you're talking about how this could elevate her to the next level, and Cynthia too, Cynthia Erivo. I mean, the buzz around them getting awards for this movie is insane. And if
yeah.
Cynthia Erivo wins an Oscar for this, she'll officially EGOT,
Oh
which
wow.
which is huge. And I really hope that happens for her because she does deserve it. And it's crazy that she already has an Emmy, a Grammy, and a Tony, and all she needs is the Oscar. And I could see Ari getting it too. I mean, whether it's for a song or and they're already saying they're going to do Cynthia Erivo nominated for will be nominated, or they're going to submit her for lead actress and submit Ari for supporting, even though they're technically kind of both the leads. And you could argue that Ari's the big name on the bill because she's Ariana Grande. And this is a good segue. It was funny when the dolls started dropping. The dolls that dropped first were Ari. like everywhere. I couldn't find any, and I'm more of an Elphaba myself. I identify more with the Wicked Witch of the West. And I was excited to see the dolls, but also thought it was interesting because I'm like, oh, this is smart because people even like you walking into the store, you picked up an Ariana Grande doll. I mean,
Oh yeah.
those and even now that they're fully stocked because they were dropping in Walmart's, excuse me, early before
I haven't seen them in Target yet.
they are in Target. Well, the Targets around me, they've started to have their little sections. When the Stanleys dropped the cups, which I have here, they I know I'm going very hard, and it's so pretty. The Lego is all in the Lego aisle. I've bought every Lego set. Love Lego. But yeah, sorry to get back to the dolls. The Ari dolls are the ones that I'm seeing much more of, and I think I'm not surprised by that. Now that everything is out, I am seeing more of a balance. But I think people are going to see Ariana Grande and be like, "Great, let's go see this movie," or "Let's buy." The kids are going to be like, "I want this doll," even though they don't even know what Wicked is yet.
Well, it worked for me. So, so about these dolls, so they started dropping pretty early because I was like, oh, this movie must be coming out soon. Like I wasn't keeping up with it, but then I was like, I looked and I was like, oh, this doesn't come out till like the end of November, and I was like, well, this makes sense. That's what they did with The Little Mermaid too, which
Yeah.
made me a little bit nervous because I'm like, well, I bought everything for that, and then was like so disappointed. I'm not going to do that with Wicked because I just have no connection to it, but I did get two, and so Mattel is producing these dolls. I have not opened mine, so
Yeah, who'd you get?
I
Oh,
I got this one.
cute. I have her here too.
What is this one?
I have one in box and I have one. I bought two. I'm very that my Britney collection. I have to have one in box and one out of box. I'm ridiculous, you guys. So this is their school outfit. So this is like earlier in the movie when they're first arriving at school. Again, I have not seen this movie yet, so this is just some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. Some of these looks, we're kind of guessing based on trailer footage, and
So these are not like costumes that are in the show.
well, no, not these versions.
Okay.
There is a version of her in, Glinda in a Shiz University, what do you call it, uniform. But obviously they've, updated them for the movie. And I mean, there's like really cute, like butterfly details on these, and the accessories are really cute. I mean,
Is the quality of this fabric, what is that like? Because I don't plan on opening this. So is it thin?
um,
Because this is a cheaper one, right? Because I also got this one.
you got the deluxe too.
And
Yes,
she
I have
was a
that one.
little bit more expensive.
I actually haven't opened that one yet. I have both of mine are still in box, and I've heard some mixed. I've heard some people have some mixed reviews on the fabric on that one. I haven't. I was planning on opening it before our podcast today, and I didn't get a chance to. Just so I could talk about the quality of the fabric. I think it looks really nice just by looking at it. I haven't touched it yet, but I think the fabric on the Shiz costume is really nice. I think the fabric, and here is the Elphaba version, and it's really cute. It has this like, what would you call this? A little
A pleated skirt that is.
a pleated high-low moment, asymmetrical, and she has a blazer you can remove, and like it comes. I mean, it's very cute. Her hair is really stunning.
I will say, like, the likeness on these is pretty good. I know, automatically when these celebrity dolls come out, people immediately start fucking with them and painting them and doing all that stuff. I have yet to see an Ariana Grande repaint of these dolls that looks better than
I agree.
like I think she looks good. I know. So I did listen. I did go through them because some of them had. I think I did a good job on both of them. Some of them had really intense contouring on her face, and I was like, "That's a bit much." But I did find two that had hardly any, and I was like, "I mean, you can remove that shit real easy." But I was like, "I don't want to. I don't want to open these." But now I'm kind of wanting to. But I did
No,
find ones with less intense contouring on her face, and
I didn't
I
do
think it looks just like her. And I think that what is her name, Elphaba? I think
Alphabet.
that doll looks great too. It looks just
Yeah.
like the actress.
I think the Cynthia, yeah, the Elphaba Cynthia doll. I think this one, the likeness is because it does have like I know you talk a lot about, and I agree with your thoughts on the Britney doll about how the face sculpt on those is so beautiful because it does have almost like a cartoony quality to it. You don't want it to look just like the person, like that's when the dolls look creepy. And I think the Cynthia doll, the Mattel did a really, really good job with her face sculpt, looking like her and really being beautiful and having all her beautiful features and her hair, but still having kind of like a doll. I don't want to call it cartoony. I don't know if I like that word, but like
I
a
do. That's what
doll
I say.
quality.
It's
Not like it's a
cartoony.
bad thing. Yeah, not in a bad
No,
way,
I
but
like it.
and I think Ari's is a little bit a step, not a step back, not in a bad way. I'm trying to choose my words carefully. It really does look like Ariana Grande.
Oh
That's
yeah.
maybe more realistic. It's more of a real face. And I
It
want
looks like a doll of Ariana Grande.
yes. And I
Like,
want to agree with you about the repaints. I'm so funny that you said that because that was a note I made to say that I have yet to see a repaint that I thought looked better than the just factory one. And have you seen online? And some of our friends have, our doll friends have posted that they've gotten theirs in the mail. They didn't get to go to the store and pick. And the contouring on her nose, that's really intense. The stamp will be off. Have you seen
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
It's
Well, I saw some of those in the store and I was like, oh,
I did too. And I think that's what's tough when you do these stamping. And that's why you don't see dolls with nose contour. But like I'm glad you picked some good ones too. And I think I did too, just looking at mine and even looking at some of these other ones. And the bodies are all on made to move similar. They're all, they all can be posed really
yeah, they
cute.
are pretty well. Is this one too? Oh, yeah.
All are
They
well
are pretty
articulated.
well articulated,
The only ones that aren't are the singing dolls. And the singing
which is
dolls,
so interesting because you'd think this one would be the singing one, the bigger one.
yes, the deluxe.
Yeah.
They're, I think.
Oh, her feet are huge.
The feet, that's, I was gonna say that too. The feet
Sorry.
on all of them. No, it's okay. I love that we're on the same, literally the same page. The feet on the Ari dolls specifically are really big. And I think what I saw online, what people are speculating is that they wanted to do some really fun detail. Her shoes are all done really fun. And Glinda does love shoes. And we've seen in trailer footage, they're doing a lot of shoe stuff. So I think they had to make the sculpts of the feet a little different so they could have these beautiful detail like this is another one. This is what I'm assuming is the Ozdust
Oh
ballroom.
my
They
God,
go,
how many? Okay, one,
yes, let's look
two,
at
three. There's four. Is there four of them?
of Ari. There's four. Yes, there's four right now. So we have the singing doll, which she's in her popular look, and she sings the song "Popular." And then we're assuming this is the Ozdust ballroom, where they go to like a dance, a school dance, and she wears this cutie dress. And then we have the Shiz University one we've already talked about, and then the deluxe is. This is like referencing the iconic look we know from Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
The movie starts, or the show starts, I guess, spoiler alert, it starts, she goes back and like tells the story. So she comes out as the Glinda we know, and they sing the Witch of the West is dead, and they're cheering, Wicked Witch is dead. And then they say, but wait, didn't you know her? Weren't you guys friends in school? And she goes, well, and then she tells the story. But again, it's referencing that really iconic Glinda,
Yeah.
from
Well,
Wizard of Oz.
this is the one I wanted to get. This one to actually, so I was like, I'm gonna get one, like for
Yeah.
sure. And then for the first few weeks when they were dropping, I couldn't, this is the one I wanted to get because I was like, well, obviously that's the most iconic one. Like,
You couldn't find that one?
no, I just found
Oh,
this
wow.
recently. And
Oh,
so
awesome.
I got this one because I was like, well, I
Yeah.
gotta get one, like whatever. Oh, I hadn't seen it anywhere. And
Oh,
like I said, I haven't
wow.
seen any of the Wicked dolls at Target, just Walmart. And I literally live a block and a half away from a Walmart. So I'm like always
Oh,
checking it.
I've been living in Walmart. When they started dropping early, when I saw people posting that stuff was being dropped, because October 1st was the street date for all the stuff. And some Targets were getting it and it was on the floor, but Target wouldn't let you scan it out. But Walmart would. So
I hate it when they do that.
Target, I know Target is so they're bad with the Funkos like that. And I get it, but Walmart was letting you buy them. So I went to every Walmart in my area. And actually the deluxe Glinda in her pink dress, well, she's in a lot of pink, but that one that you have, that was the first one I found. And I was like, oh my God. And then I found the deluxe Alphabet 2, which I have here, and which is beautiful. This is her in her Defying Gravity dress. That's the big song from the show and the movie. And then we have one, I think this is her Ozdust ballroom when she goes to the dance. And it's very cute because we know the hat, right? The very iconic hat. Well, Galinda Ariana gives her the hat to make fun of her. And she says, "You'll look really great if you wear this to the dance tonight." And she shows up wearing it and everybody laughs at her. But it actually is a big turning point in the movie because, again, spoiler alert, everybody. Maybe I shouldn't tell you. Maybe you should
No,
just
it's okay.
go see.
I'll put it in the. Oh, well, I don't care. You can spoil it for me, but
Oh,
I'll
I
put
didn't
it.
want to spoil it for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll
spoiler
put it
alert
in
for
the beginning. I'll put it in the beginning that we're going to be
you.
in depth talking about it.
Spoiling. But just I want to point out because this one doesn't have a hat, but these two do because Glinda gives her the hat and she gets, made fun of in front of everybody and it softens because they don't get along. They fight. They are not friends at first. But then it
Oh,
softens Glinda's heart to her and then they become besties and she apologizes obviously and it makes her feel bad. It's a whole thing. And they sing a song. It's a whole thing. There's a dance number. It's very. I'm doing kind of a terrible job explaining it, but that's the quick version of it.
well, I will
And so,
say I do think these dolls look pretty good, minus that contouring. And anyone listening, if you ever want to get rid of that, you just take a little dab of acetone, like a nail polish remover, on a Q-tip, a very small amount, and you just rub very lightly. Look it up
yeah,
on YouTube before you do it. Do not blame me if you fuck up your doll. It's not my fault. I'm just telling you what I would have done. But I like the box presentation as well. I think the boxes are very nice.
I was going to say that too. All the packaging and they're using the iconic green and pink for everything. Of course, they should. And yeah, the packaging is beautiful. I've had a hard time throwing some of it away because I'm like, I just think it's so. I love good packaging. It's a bummer when a beautiful doll has bad packaging.
Oh yeah.
As somebody who collects in box and out of box. But they of course did all of like all the looks I think from this first movie for the both main girls, but there's a few other dolls to talk about. One
Yes.
one is not out yet, so we are getting a Target exclusive of Jonathan Bailey's character Fiero, and then a doll I was really excited to talk about. Sorry, I'm just moving through these dolls because
That's okay.
I'm so excited to talk about them. I think this doll is really cool and really important. I have her here out of box. Is Nessa Rose. This is Elphaba. This is her younger sister, and she's in a wheelchair, and she is in the stage production as well. And it's just so beautifully done, and like the wheels spin very nicely. And I mean, the face sculpt on her is so beautiful. The actress playing her is so beautiful, and I just think that this doll, not even think, I already know it's meaning so much to a lot of people, and I just think they did such a good job, both with the design for the movie of the wheelchair and her dress and she's wearing some not ruby slippers but some silver shoes because of movie rights, but also in the book the shoes are silver that Dorothy wears.
Oh.
Trying to say spoilers but not say too many, but yes, so
So
she
did you buy all the ones that are out on the
I
shelves
have
right
I
now?
have I have all of
Nice.
them, so I think, oh, there is one more here. Mattel Creations has done a two pack,
Oh, they
kind of
did?
a, yeah, kind of a random two pack here that came a couple weeks ago. It came drop around October 1st, and I haven't opened it yet. I want to open it, but it's another Elphaba in her Shiz University clothing, and then another Madame Morrible. And this is the scene where she's testing her powers because Madame Morrible takes a student every semester and helps them with their magic because there's magic in Oz. And Galindo really wants, by the way, in the first act, she goes by Linda, that's her name. And then later on, she gets rid of the and just goes by Galinda. It's a whole plot point, which is worth bringing up because it's weird that these dolls it's all Galinda on the packaging. I said that in my haul video that I posted on TikTok. And I'm kind of surprised that they didn't call her Linda because that's a big point of the movie. And it sounds like there's other stuff where they are gonna have that in the movie still and keep that from the musical. But I just thought that was interesting. Anyway, this is a scene where, again, based on trailer footage, where she's testing her powers because Elphaba is very powerful with her magic, and it causes rifts between Ariana's character, Glinda, and Elphaba because she wants to be the main witch on campus. I mean, Mattel Creations normally nails it, in my opinion, and I think in yours too. And they just did a really beautiful job with these. I hope they do more. That's my only real critique. I'm like, this is kind of random, and we
Well, I'm
already
guessing
have.
they will. I mean, you said there's a whole nother movie, so I mean,
There is a whole nother movie. You are correct, but I
I'm
think of the main characters, we don't have a Bach is another character we don't have. He's a Munchkin. That is just another friend of theirs that has a pretty significant role with this with Nessa Rose. But I think they've done a good job. They've hit all the main, I think the main character. We actually don't have a wizard doll yet. That's another one we could get. We do have
And that's Jeff Goldblum.
that's Jeff Goldblum's character, yeah. Like the Wizard of Oz,
I know a
literal.
lot of actors like do not sign their. This is totally unreal. Well, actually, I guess it is related. But you know how like Mattel is now rolling out all of the Ken dolls from the Barbie movie with the new face.
With the
Do you
Ryan
know?
Gosling.
Do you know about that?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
because Ryan Gosling like wouldn't sign over his whatever, which is so stupid to me. Because I'm like, you're in a Barbie movie, bro. Like,
I know.
of course, they're gonna put dolls out. So I'm guessing that I'm glad they've got as many as they do for this, but it's
I
just a
know.
dumb. It's like anything now that is a movie like this is you need to do that, y'all,
Guys.
because otherwise you're just wasting. You're losing your income too. Like it's so
Right.
silly.
Well, and I think it's a money thing too. I feel like with the Ryan Gosling thing, he probably wanted some outrageous amount of money for his likeness, and they were like, we're not even paying Margot Robbie that much. We ain't paying you that much. We'll just use a regular Ken face." And maybe they were able to come to some agreement. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Jeff Goldblum. I mean, his likeness has been used in like Funko Pops and stuff. So um, I don't know if he's ever had a doll made by Mattel from any of his previous stuff. But I don't think we've had a Wizard doll announced yet because there's still like a Build-A-Bear's doing a Build-A-Bear. That I saw that today,
Are
literally.
they? That makes sense.
I'm like, that's cute. It looked really cute. I don't know that I'd get it, but because I've been kind of a psycho getting some of this stuff, but it's just really cool. I mean, to maybe segue a little bit, there are some other dolls that have been made for Wicked that in the past, there is this one that Mattel actually did. This is the yeah, Barbie signature collection that they did for the musical. There is
Right.
a I just have the Elphaba. I mean, these definitely go for 200 to 300. That's I think that you're paying kind of a fair price for that. I've seen people charge up to 600 for them. And they came out in 2018, so they're not that old. I just think there was a very limited run, and I think as the hype has grown towards the movie, they've just gone up in price. And I don't have the Glinda, and I've kind of kicked myself that I never got her because I'm just gonna either never have her. Maybe I'll come across her at a doll show again and have somebody give me a very fair price. But there's that one, and then actually, Madame do you say Madame Alexander or Madame
I
Alexander?
say madam.
I do too, and I feel like it's wrong, and I've heard people say opposite. So I just wanted to show these off because I just got them,
Oh
and
wow.
they are again from the like this is Elphaba's Shiz costume in or one of the Shiz looks in the actually no, this might be when they go to the dance actually because this is her dance look, the Ozdust ballroom. They did a very, very small amount of these, and I've heard varying amounts. I've heard 100 pieces of each. I've heard 150, 200. The person that sold these to me on eBay, I just got these like a couple months ago. These have been on my hunt list for forever, like literal years, and I've never seen them never removed from box. And it's sad because I was going to open them, but then I got them, and my friend Tiffany, the follow the Yellow Brick Girl is her at, was like, "Don't open them. Like those are so rare." And I got them for a really good price. You know how eBay is. You know, sometimes stuff be out there like one sold just by itself removed from box and Alphaba recently for like $600, and I was like, oh, that's
Oh my
expensive.
gosh.
No, they go for a lot, and I was able to get them for a really good price together from somebody who just was like, yeah, I got them a long time ago, and I just don't want. They've been sitting in my closet, and I'm like, give them to me. They will be on display, like literal dream piece. So we've had a touch of Wicked over the years again with these with the Barbie signature collection. But it's just so cool to see these characters in doll form as a doll collector, as a lover of the show. Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I'm not a fan yet. So I was but even as someone who knows nothing, I know a little bit more now, but I bought these dolls before this. I still wanted one. I was like, this is cool. Like this is a big moment, so I'm gonna get one or two. And I think they have knocked these out of the park. I'm sure they're gonna do several more for the next movie, and I'm sure it'd be cool. I think there's so much they could do with these characters in doll form. I would love to see this one. What did you call this one? The deluxe one? I don't.
Is that what it's called? I think it's called. Oh, I
Yes,
have it.
deluxe
Yeah,
Glinda. I
like I
would
have it.
love to see them make a big version of this doll. I think that would be so cool.
Like a 16, 17-inch version.
Yeah,
I hope so. Like a true collector's, because nothing we've gotten thus far, even the Mattel Creations one I showed you, is the closest, but nothing feels like a true adult collector's
right.
piece. But they're beautiful, and I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but I feel like if Mattel Creations is and the packaging is beautiful on it, like give us this, make this all taller, but all
Yeah,
Glinda.
I would love to see that. Which one's your favorite that you bought so far of the new ones?
Um, I do love. I haven't opened her yet, but I do love the deluxe Elphaba and her Defying Gravity costume. And I think I've been waiting to open her because I'm just so excited and I just want to keep the hype going as long as I can. But I also do love the singing Elphaba, even though the articulation isn't great, but it was so cool. It was such a thrill to hear the most we had heard of Defying Gravity. And she was the one I really, really hunted for. It took me the longest to find her. I like stalked a Target because they were like, we're gonna get them tomorrow at some point, and I was like, what time? What
Oh,
time are we out?
I'm sure they're getting all the people being like, where are they?
Oh, and they loved it. The two girls I was talking to, they were like, we're massive fans. We're gonna try and get one too. And I was like, how many are there? They were like, there's 3. And I was like, great, we can each have one. And it was a very cute moment. And I think that's another beautiful thing about this show is so many people do love it. I really hope when you see it, you love it. It's okay if you see it and you don't, but I'm so excited for you to see it. And I like love that we've been able to talk about it because it's truly it might be up there with my top favorite musical of all time.
I love that. Well, I'm excited for you.
Thanks, Sage.
Yeah, you're welcome. I have great expectations for this. So, Matt, thank you so much for doing this. I really needed someone to educate me on Wicked. So I was so excited to have you on today. Please tell everyone where they can find you so they can hear your amazing singing voice and follow you.
Sage, you're so nice. This was so fun. Thank you for having me. Anytime. I hope I gave concise enough answers about Wicked. I was like I said, I've never had to describe Wicked to somebody. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about something I love. My handles on everything is just my name, Matt Bloyd, Bloyd, like Floyd with a B. And yeah, come hang. I don't post a ton about my collection on there. It's just pretty much my music, but I have a lot of doll friends on there and I love connecting with the doll community. And yeah, send me a message. Let's talk about Wicked. Let's talk about Britney. Let's talk about Little Mix. Yeah, this was so fun. Thank you again for having me.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll have to do a check-in when this movie comes out, so I can tell you how I maybe I'll be a changed man.
We like have to do that because like I am like beaming at the thought. Even if you hate it, I just want to check in, and I feel like your listeners will be curious too, and see your thoughts, and then maybe you'll have context for the dolls. Maybe you'll get more dolls. I foresee you maybe wanting to get another doll or two, maybe an Elphaba doll to go with your Glinda.
Yeah, probably. We'll see. All right. Well, thank you so much, Matt, and we'll keep in touch. Sound good?
Bye.
Yay, that was so great. Honestly, I will be seeing this movie, and it was really fun to learn about this from Matt because I can tell he is just such a true fan of the musical. So I'll definitely have to do a check-in about that when I can. And I also wanted to say thank you, Matt, 1, for being on the show, and 2, for always being so positive and encouraging and kind about this show. It really means a lot to me. So thank you so much. Next week, guys, I am talking about Cabbage Patch Kids, which is easily one of the most iconic toy and doll brands of all time. Don't forget, there is some bonus content at the end of this episode, so please check that out if you are having fun. As always, follow me on social media, all the things, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, it's there. If you're enjoying the show, please leave me a 5-star review. It really, really helps. It gets my podcast out there, and I really, really appreciate it. And until next time, I will talk with you soon. Moving on, Matt, any excuse I have to talk about Little Mix, I will. And I hate that I still have to be like, if you don't know who Little Mix is, you need to look them up. This happens to me way too frequently. I'm so fucking sick of it. You guys, Little Mix, and I talk about them all the time. Every time I do a live video, like on Instagram or something, somehow Little Mix gets brought up and it's all I talk about the whole time. I know I'm a
Oh,
Britney Spears doll guy, and that's great. I love Britney Spears. She's my
love.
number one, but I
Mine too.
fucking love Little Mix. And honestly, I don't know that I've ever like had a friend that understands them
Yeah.
like as much as I do. My friend Brooke gets really into them, but she's a Fifth Harmony girl.
Oh,
And
okay.
I used to be too, but then I was
Oh,
like,
me too.
I
I
went
saw
to
them.
the right side of things where I was like, okay, but
I was
um,
like, I'm holding space for both, but like Little Mix is going to just be like hot, held higher on the shelf. But I love you both.
I listen to Little Mix every single day. It's
Still
my
to this day,
still to this day, it's my
me
chosen
as
thing.
well.
I have the like greatest hit CD, the literal CD in my
Yep.
car. And like, I'll do,
Uh,
like, if I'm ever like, I don't know what, like, I just put them on. Always do. So I want to talk to you about them because to me, I mean, I know Spice Girls really are like the girl group, you know, but it's like, honestly, I'm not, so many people are going to come for me about this. I don't fucking care. If I were to be sent to a deserted island and they were like, you can only choose Little Mix discography or Spice Girls, I would bring Little Mix with me because first of all, there's more. Um,
thing.
but also I just literally love them so much with and without Jessie Nelson. And generally with girl groups, if someone quits, I'm like, see ya, like hate you,
Yeah,
bitch. Jessie
it's a
Nelson.
wrap.
Jessie Nelson is the only one that I've been like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Because I love her.
I just want to like hug her and be like, it's gonna be okay, sis. And
I
you can
know.
also come back and we can like all be friends again. You
I
know?
do wonder with the recent passing of Liam Payne if, which by the
Ah,
way, rest in peace,
rest in
like
peace.
so
Rest in
sad.
power. Oh my goodness.
I do wonder if we're going to see a little bit of a Little Mix reunion soon, just because I assume that there's going to be lots of get-togethers for
I
that.
didn't even think of that, but wow, yeah.
Um, because I know they were all really they came up at the same time. So, and obviously Zayn and Perry and all
Well, I
that
mean,
stuff.
and Little Mix couldn't be really attributed. I mean, Run Direction was the season before, and they didn't win, and they go on to have a success. So, you know, what's the talk around all of that was that the next season they were like, well, we should have a group, maybe a girl group. And you know, it's reality television. We can be honest at this point about how real it all actually is. Um, and they put together this group that was amazing and go on to win. So there has been conversation in press, and I feel like the girls have talked about, you know, that they do owe One Direction. They kind of, in a sense, paved the way for X Factor to even be open to a group
Hmm.
winning. So because I mean, One Direction didn't win X Factor, but then was like immediately huge, which is so cool. And I just want to say too, I don't really like that was what we first bonded over as friends was because we were like, wait, you love Little Mix? But every time I feel like I would do that with somebody, they'd be like, yeah, I love their song Wings, which I love that they
Or
would,
Black Magic.
or Black Magic. No, I feel like Wings and Black Magic, which I love. I love that people know there's, I'm not trying to disrespect or shade nobody, but it would never really go past there. I'd be like, oh my God, but what about, and they'd be like, oh, I don't know that
What
one.
about
Or
Towers?
I love that album. I love all the ballads on that one, but Towers might be my favorite. You've asked me before what my favorite Little Mix song is, and I've never been able to give you an answer because I can only answer per album. Like I can't. It's impossible to pick an all-time favorite song.
Mine's definitely Confetti.
Oh, you have said that, but the Sweetie remix, right?
Yeah, which unfortunately Jesse Nelson is
Does
not in,
doesn't
but
have Jesse. I also want to say I love that you. Oh, every time we talk about Little Mix, y'all, Sage always has to say Jesse Nelson.
oh yeah, I call her Jesse Nelson.
Like she cannot just be Jessie, which I
No.
love that. Like we are formal with when we talk about our girls. We need their full government names.
She's the only one I do that with though. It's
That's true
Jesse
because Jade,
Nelson. Yeah.
Perry, those are like one Leanne. Yeah, I mean those are all kind of one off, like one names. But I love that you love them as much as I do. It's like been such a great thing to bond over. I mean, y'all, I'm a psycho with Little Mix, and I agree. I mean, I grew up loving Spice Girls. I don't collect their dolls. People are always kind of shocked by that, but they just,
Oh
I don't,
yeah.
I, yeah, I don't, I don't remember them as a kid. I remember seeing them, but I didn't have this desire, although I loved Spice Girls. What's so crazy, I was just having a conversation with a songwriter friend about Spice Girls was such a phenomenon, like especially for us young, the young millennials. But when you're young, time goes by so much slower. But they were a real, true flash in the pan.
Oh yeah.
I think they weren't even together 2 years, right? I mean, you're more of an
Well,
expert.
they were, but like the span of them before it all just kind of. I mean, obviously
When Jerry
Spice Girls
left,
are still doing stuff, and like they'll
yes,
always be. They've never like really disbanded or anything, but
right.
truly like their peak was like 2 years, and then just.
And Jerry left, and then they continued as a four, and then they've reunited since. Yeah, and I mean, again, speaking just about like the time when they were globally so like culturally impactful. Yeah, it was only like a 2-ish year period, and then Jesse left, and they've always been around, and that's again not to shade or anything. It's just it was quick, and yeah, their discography is only what like 2 albums,
It's like three, yeah.
3, yeah, yeah. Whereas Little Mix has 7 albums, if you
Little Mix is for sure
include.
the longest lasting girl group for like
Yeah,
with no breaks. It was like 10 years.
yeah,
Like I
it
don't think
was
any other girl group that has been super. I mean, Little Mix also is globally successful. Just for some reason, like in the United
not
States,
United
it's just
States.
like I would still say they're pretty successful, but like not. I think Fifth Harmony is what really fucked with that, which is
I
so
agree. I
unfortunate
agree.
because like you can't. I like Fifth Harmony, okay, I do.
Yeah.
I can't stand Camila Cabello, but Fifth Harmony, you can. It's like Little Mix is so polished and so like I think my friend Brooke makes a really good point about Fifth Harmony, where to me and her, we've talked about this a lot. Fifth Harmony definitely did not want to be
Agree.
together, and they, even though some of them haven't really had much solo success, I do feel like they all work better on their own. Whereas with Little Mix, unfortunately, I think they work better together. I think their music is doing all right. Their solo music is doing okay, but it's not hitting the way I think, which I think Jade has a song coming out tonight, right?
Yeah, a new song.
Um,
Did
um,
you did you order her last round of new merch? Because I did.
no, I didn't, but I do
Midnight
think they work.
Hour.
I think they work better together, and I do feel like for a long time at least, Little Mix were actually very close friends. I think the three of them still are. It's so annoying and unfortunate what happened because it's like, what? No. I
Yeah,
literally was like, no, Little Mix is
forever.
the group that's gonna, and I do think that they're gonna come back. And I
I
hope
do
by
too.
the time they do, like they mend their ways. Well, getting back to that whole, the Liam thing, like it's so sad. And I just hope like like, life is not forever and shit happens, but like you girls like are a four-piece.
Yeah.
But they worked great as a trio
I
too.
did love the
So
trio. I did
yeah.
love, yeah. And I agree. I also wanted to say it was, I didn't want to interrupt you, but when you were like, yeah, the Little Mix just worked better together. And I was like, LOL, the Fifth Harmony song, Better Together.
Oh.
LOL, better together.
Yeah. Ugh.
I agree. Girl groups are tough. I mean, my other big girl group that I've always loved is Destiny's Child. And
Hmm.
if I was asked the deserted island question, I don't know. That's a tough one because I did just they're for different
Mm.
reasons. Like I grew up with Destiny's Child, and Beyonce's in my holy trinity. My trinity is Whitney, Britney, Beyonce, and then of course my little mixed girls. I don't know if I want to rank them, but that's just my four. Um, and I don't know. It's like I grew up on Destiny's Child, but then I mean, Little Mix got me through some like a really solid 10 years of my life. I mean, college. I like grew in like into my career as a singer listening to them, and I've always really loved them too, and I think I love both groups. But to specifically talk about Little Mix, they're singers, like they sing so
But
well.
they do sing really well, but they're also like performers. And usually
Yes.
you can't do, generally it's tough to be both. Like Fifth Harmony, I would say were pretty good singers, but well, actually, no. Fifth Harmony's so subpar when you compare them to Little Mix, because Little Mix, they're really great singers, but they also put on such a great show because they do the whole pop star
They
thing.
sang live, but they would do
Yeah.
dance breaks. They would have wardrobe changes. I mean, and that's why I love Destiny's Child too, because a similar thing could be said. But yeah,
I can't agree with that because I just feel like Destiny's Child was Beyonce's.
well, take your own
Sorry.
feedback sometime. No, it's okay.
Because
That's
Little Mix is so cool, just like the Spice Girls are so cool because there's no lead singer in either group.
I fully agree with that.
And
And
with I like
I love
Destiny's Child too, especially when I was younger. I'm not a big Beyonce fan now, but I love Destiny's Child. I could sing you a bunch of their songs. Give me a random track and I probably know it.
I do love Destiny's Child. I do love Beyonce. Not too much, not too much on Beyonce, please, because I do love my queen.
Sorry.
But it's okay. It's okay.
I don't like
Different.
Taylor Swift either.
I know you've said that.
Sorry guys, I don't get it.
I don't stand, but I don't not like. I'm very like I think she's a great hard
Just
worker.
like whatever about her.
I always am scared to ever say anything bad about her, but
I'm not.
I know you let them have it, Sage, and I'm not really that scared. I genuinely do like her, and I remember listening to early Taylor as a young person and being like, I can write songs, I can go to Nashville, and I can sing country songs. So that impact was really huge on me, and that's again why I still have a soft spot for her. But with Little Mix, to get back to our girls, like listeners, you couldn't see, but Sage just like put his little hand on his heart
Because I
said,
love them. They
oh,
know.
I said our girls, and he just put a little hand on his heart because same. That was I wanted the listeners to have that moment too. Um, they really all let each other shine, but then functioned as a unit too. It was really spectacular to watch. And I mean, y'all, I flew when I found out that they were gonna, disband for a little bit and they were doing a final tour. I'd actually just moved and got a place in Nashville. I was doing a lot of life changes, and I said, "Listen, life is short, life is precious. We have discovered that. We've talked about that and speaking about Liam Payne. You just never know." We had just had this global world shutdown. This was what 2022 when they announced their disbandment. I was like, I am flying across the world and I'm going to see them perform their last show at the O2, the iconic O2 Arena
I
in
watched. I watched. I bought
they
tickets to
did,
the.
they
I
did
bought
stream
tickets
it. They
to the
did stream
stream.
it. And I was like, I'm going to be in the room where it happens. And I am very fortunate to have friends in the business and actually be good friends with the guy who came in second to them on X Factor, the runner up. His name's Marcus Collins, dear friend, amazing singer. And he actually texted me and he was like, "Oh, the girls like you've never seen like we had always kind of had this thing like, are you gonna ever come over here and like hang out?" And I was like, I'm gonna ask you straight up, can I go with you to the show? Like, no, like I'm not even gonna be coy about it. And he was like, you get your butt here, let's go. And it was so special to be there and it ended up being a couple friends of ours who were on the X Factor with them. And so it was very sentimental for them, and a different reason it was sentimental for me. We were all crying because, again, they saw them get formed and grew up with these girls, and I grew up with them in a different way as a fan. So it was very emotional, and then it was very cool to go backstage, and there was an after party backstage the night of, and then a farewell party the next night. And no, I wasn't like they were very big, and it was all these industry people. And yes, I did get to meet the girls, but it was just fun to be there and celebrate and to be with friends and be with people who also, like you and I, Sage, just love the girls. And because, make no mistake, I say this being in the industry, like if you can't be a fan of your friends, I have so many friends who are gone on to big success, and it's like, I'm like, I am a fan. I will buy tickets to your show, and because if you can't show up and support your friends, what are you even doing? Like, and it was so cool because these guys too, even though they were on the show with them all, I mean, he came in second to them, but he's like their number one fan, knows all their songs. And I just thought that was such a testament to the girls and the beautiful community that they had created, both around them, but in the world of people who just love them. And the whole arena was sobbing with them. They were crying. I mean, it was a very special thing that I don't get to talk about too often. So thank you for letting me talk about it here. And I'd still listen to them every day too. I mean, I feel like I'm always having an album that I'm like low-key obsessed with, like in the moment. It's usually LM5.
LM5 is like the best album ever.
I know.
It's
Or
my
Salute.
favorite.
I do love Salute, but I also love their last album. I don't know. It's so hard. I feel like we've talked about like what you've asked me before. What's your favorite song? I already said this, but like, how do you pick? I don't
It's
know.
hard. LM5 to me is a 10 out of 10. Like, you don't get those very often. Like, I know every single song and I'm obsessed with it.
If I had to pick a random kind of, I do love some singles. Like I do love Sweet Melody. I do love Power. But if I had to pick, I know. If I had to pick a song that I just love so much that's not one of those typical ones, it's Monster and Me from LM5. That song is
Oh,
so
should have been a
stunning.
single, and they never sang that one
Never
live.
one of the famous ones they've never done live. I also am a sucker for Love Me or Leave Me, the good ballad, which they did do, and that was one that they
I
did at the
saw that,
last.
yeah.
Yeah, that they were like, y'all have asked us about this for 10 years, and we're finally going to freaking sing this hard, belty, scream ballad song that none of us want to sing because it's so hard, and they killed it. It was amazing. But I've really been, I'm grateful that that's brought us together too as friends because again, I don't have a lot of people in my life that I can do this with, and we can geek out and talk about deep cuts on their albums.
I fully treated that last show that was streamed like an actual concert experience.
Good.
I ordered a t-shirt. I
Uh,
like I was it was so exciting for me because I couldn't go and I was just like, oh my God, like you never know. Like what if they
yeah,
never whatever.
that's
But
what I told myself.
I wanted to really talk with you about Little Mix because I don't get a chance to talk about them a lot either. And I also haven't done anything on this show where I talk about bad dolls. And this is so unfortunate. I truly
So,
believe Little Mix has some of the worst celebrity dolls that have ever been created. I am sure this was just, I don't even know who produced them. I am so sure that they threw these together so fast that it's just like there wasn't much they could do. But and I love my Little Mix dolls. I had to, these were hella expensive. I
they're
had
very
to,
hard to come by. Because
they were in the US. You
well,
like
they weren't
have
in
to,
the U.S.,
yeah.
so you have to buy them from overseas, and they were mass produced, and they actually were kind of successful money wise, but the girls never liked them. They were kind of panned. I
Look at
from
her
what I
fucking
understand.
face.
I know. And you know what? The repro you've done on her, the not the repro, the restyling of her hair and the outfit that you've made for her. We're looking at a Leanne doll.
Oh.
Face was tough, but it looks so much better on the this beautiful piece of art that you've created in her hair.
Yeah, I put them
And
all in the
let's
same costume, but their faces are so, I mean, Perry's actually so, I don't know. I think
can I speak? Let me. Well, I have mine up. Mine are all unboxed. I've never unboxed them. I have. I know that you know, but for the listeners, I have a set of just the regular dolls that I guess I could open now because I have a set of the dolls signed by the girls. And then now I have a set of prototype dolls that I just scored on eBay like a year ago from somebody who worked for the company that produced the dolls, and they were clearing out a back storage unit, and they just said put them on eBay, and he gave them to me for a ridiculously low amount. It was actually insane. So they have some hand sample stickers on them of change, like the Leanne doll. Have I ever shown? I think I showed it to you. The Leanne prototype I have. Her hair is it's like it's so big. It's almost as big as the whole doll. It's like and the note on the hand sample sticker is her hair needs to be smaller. Why is her hair so big? Um, and then it also came with which I love, and I know we would both kill to have some Britney doll heads on the little stands. And the doll heads, the sculpts of the prototypes, like the Perry one I know I've sent to you, it looks so much like her. It's so
yeah.
crazy what they ended up going with because the one that I have, it is gorgeous. And Perry is such a beauty. I mean, they're all four of them are stunning. So how they messed them up, I don't know. Yeah, they were younger. They had more baby faces at the time because they really were young when they wanted. They really did grow up with us. Um, but the Perry one looks just like her, and it's still gorgeous. It doesn't necessarily have like a cartoony feel, but it's just a great sculpt. And I don't know what happened.
Perry and Leanne's are the closest, but Jesse and Jade's are
Jesse's looks nothing like her.
no, and I don't think Jade's does either.
Yeah, I agree.
I love it when they're always like, Jade has gray skin. She literally does. She literally does. Um, but just, I mean, we were talking about Taylor Swift earlier. She also has a horrible doll.
Horrible doll. Really hard to come by too. I've thought about getting one, but they're so I don't want to spend. I would put that money towards a Britney doll.
Are they?
It can be.
Damn.
Yeah, I've seen there's a again
I
there's
think
very
I have a couple of them just from
do
thrift
you?
stores. Yeah.
Yeah. But in box, some of them still sing because they were singing dolls, which we already know how we feel about those. But I was really stoked to get. I mean, I love a good prototype. Yeah, I was stoked to get the girls' dolls, but I've never opened them. I gotta maybe crack open maybe my extra set that I have because I just have a regular set, not signed, not prototyped. Because you said that the quality is.
They're
Oh,
just so stiff, and like rerouting them was an absolute pain, but I had to because I was like, Jade's hair is purple. Like it's not like I
no.
had to. And it took me so long because I had to keep heating boiling water and like putting the head in and then doing that. And then I had a catastrophe with the Jessie doll because the orange hair that I use, like for some reason, and it had never happened before, like bled onto her face. So
Oh no.
her whole head turned orange.
She does look amazing though. I mean, Sage is just holding another one of
Mm,
those, and it actually makes her look more like her.
it
The way
does. She
the way
does.
you did her
Yeah.
hair.
Um,
Same way about
but
Leanne. I've asked Sage if he would do a set for me, and he
I
was like,
won't.
"Hell
No.
no,
Sorry.
sorry,
It was too
love you.
much.
I'll make you all the Britneys, but you ain't getting this.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just too
too
hard."
much.
And I wouldn't
Yeah.
want you if it was easy, yeah. But if it's gonna be hearing all the struggles you went through, I'm like, it's good. I'll just live with them how they are.
Because I was originally going to do, I think, with them, I was going to do something, maybe it was Power or something. I was going to do costumes, but
The
then,
holiday ones, the holiday and then the mermaid looks would be
oh, that would be so cool.
stunning. You know, we love
I,
mermaids.
I was going to do something like that, but then it took me like 3 weeks to do their hair. And I was like, I'm just going to put them all in the same outfit. Like, I can't.
Yeah, no, too much.
But yeah, so that I had to bring up Little Mix because we're always talking about them and they do have dolls. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do like an episode of like the best celebrity dolls and then the worst. And unfortunately, Little Mix is probably on that, definitely on that list. I always thought those My Scene dolls could really be easily turned into Little Mix dolls
Good
just because
idea.
they are Barbie size. I don't really get into brats. Did you get your brat this
I
morning?
got it
You got
today.
her?
So
Nice.
excited.
I
I
didn't
know.
even try.
I was gonna ask if you tried, for context, y'all, the Regina Mean Girls Bratz collab dropped today, and a lot of people struggled again. I don't. They had some new precautions in place, which I was appreciative of. They did like a verify that you're a real person thing, like the rope, like I'm not a robot,
That's good.
and it messed some people up because the thing I think I've concluded is if you didn't get it perfect, like click all the tiles that have a car in it, they would make you do like four of them in a row. And that messed a lot of people up. I was doing it on my computer and on my phone, not to get two, just whatever one I got, I was gonna just, and my phone didn't get it, but my computer I did because I got the first CAPTCHA, and then on my phone I messed up and it made me do it like 6 times, and that messed a lot of people up. So the precautions that they put in place to get rid of bot scalpers ended up screwing a lot of collectors over. And I'm not even kidding you. In the first like 30 minutes after the doll went live, there was like 300 listings on eBay of resales
So stupid.
at the cheapest being $300 because I have that as a saved search. And it's just such a bummer because I know a lot of people who would just, I mean, I know we talked about it. I know you would, and you did talk about it on the show too, but
Did I?
I know you,
Oh, I did, huh?
yeah. You're like, I'm doing all these episodes. I don't know. Um, well, I said it too. I was like, did he talk about it on the show or we
I
talk about it?
did, yeah.
You did talk about it in the Sailor Moon episode. Anyway, I mean, if you could get them for $60, yeah, wouldn't you get the Lindsay Lohan doll at least? I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I tried.
yeah, I did too. Did I tell you I ended up getting it? Did I tell you?
I don't know. No.
I
Oh.
a listing on Mercari, the person was like, I have two and I'll sell this to you for like whoever messages me first, I'll give it to you for $100.
Oh, nice.
I think is a good price considering all things. I also had $120 worth of credits of stuff I'd sold. So free money, I guess. If you think of it that way, it paid for itself. So I'm just happy to have the Lindsay doll. Because I was so bummed to miss it. And now the Regina. Now there's the last one is the 2-pack of Karen and Gretchen, and that one's. I feel like that one's gonna be hard. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today.
It's
But
unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But I'm not a Bratz person, so I just like
I'm
Lindsay
not.
Lohan. So I was like, okay, I'll try. And then I was like, okay, fuck this. And then I don't care about the rest of them. I do love Mean Girls, but it's just not something that I'm
Yeah.
I'm dying over, but I know a lot of people are pissed off about it. But anyway,